Well, if you're watching from the diaspora, thank you very much for joining us on YouTube and our social media platforms. We are also at KTN News KE on X. You can find me at Doris Anki. I'm still here with Professor George Wajackoyah, and we've touched on quite a number of things, just giving his perspective on how the nation is moving. And also for those who are sending their feedback, allow me to just take one or two, Professor. Thank you for still being here with us. He's saying, Wajackoyah, kindly come up with a formidable and one strong force to send Kasongo home. I'm reading exactly what is written here. We are too tired. That is according to this feedback. A man of integrity, president of the people 2027, someone here says, Wajackoyah is a man of the people. Here somebody else is asking whether Kalonzo have an agreement with Raila in the presence of Uhuru, and Moi does not give any guarantee that will not be broken again by Raila like done to improve their plight. I'm not sure what that question is, Dimuli, but thank you for sending it. Keep sending in your feedback on this. And somebody talking about kindly come up with a formidable and one strong force to send Ruto home.
I would say my aim is not to send Ruto home.
Okay.
My aim is to run for president, talk to Kenyans, and let Kenyans decide. And I'm sure they will decide on me. I'm a one solo candidate. I'm not uniting with anybody, but I'm talking to Kenyans. To me, Kenyans are more important than going to group up in suits, going to group up in parados, going to group up in dancing, fake dancing on the platforms, things that, you know, when you take a monkey out of the forest and you take it into a house, you put it on a sofa set, unaipikia chakula, unaipatia chakula inakula, haitakaa kwa meza, itapiga sufuria kila siku irudi wapi? Kwa forest. And that's how those people are behaving. But before
which people? Because we've seen people who have
people who are grouping up. Kalonzo is a great leader.
All right.
Eugene is a great man. Kioni is a great person. Martha, Munya and Wairia. And so is Matiang'i. Matiang'i is a performer.
Right.
But those are Kenyans who have got their own aspiration. If they are coming together to give a formidable candidate, I pray for them because they'll meet with me. But I'm not going to group with anybody. Mimi kazi yangu ni group na watu yangu ya mkokoteni, watu wa boda, wale changa brewers, wale jamaa tu wa jamaa kina mama. Ndio naona hata last time nikifanya kampeni zangu mkuniona helicopter sijui nini fancy music hata uniform sikuwa nayo atikitu. So mimi I'm a man solo. I know what I'm doing and I'm doing it through the Roots Party.
All right.
This politics of coalition, they're the ones that have ruined this country. If you look at the UK, it's either Labour Party, the Conservative, or Liberal Democrats. If you go to the US, it's either the Democrats or the Republicans. Whoever wins, others come in. But you come here, hell went where? People want to, at sasa, unaona wengine nilikuwa nao kwa Azimio, wamepata ministry. Na ukiona some of the MPs speaking, you just, at all, sisi sasa hata sisi tukule. Wacha hata sisi tukule.
Hiyo alisema.
Raisi umefanya vizuri kuchagua mtu yetu hata sisi tukule. All that thing, in 2027, my government will be structured in such a way that we shall not have that kind of lunacy. And I will be a benevolent dictator. At least for the first 1 year, I'll be a proper dictator. Because wale wenye wameiba, I will have no mercy. I will have to make sure that rules are passed, and I will have a tribunal which will be consisting of members of the armed forces, the police, prisons, and Raia, to try these fellows and hang them in Uhuru Park. At least if you hang 100, like what China does, like what Singapore does, then there will be no corruption. Lakini mambo ya kwenda kotini, sijui nini, sijui cash bail, kwa serikali ya Wajackoyah, the first 100 days, mitanyonga hiyo jamaa.
Very interesting. Allow me, because you've spoken about Azimio. I'm not sure if I should refer to Raila Odinga still as your good friend, and he's now eyeing the AUC chairman position. But these are the words of Eugene Wamalwa in as far as Azimio is concerned, and I'll come back again to Professor with his comments.
Let us tell Kenyans the truth. Azimio died last year. Azimio is dead as a dodo, and Philip Kisio will do the honorable duty of being the mortician. Today from Chui House, the second thing I want to say is that we are starting a new journey. We are opening a new chapter, the formation of a new coalition that is going to form the next government of the Republic of Kenya. So that we want to be clear as we speak.
So according to him, Azimio is dead. We have seen, of course, the broad-based government formed. But about Raila Odinga going to the AUC, you've heard remarks that there is no more opposition. There's nobody to hold the government, to account. There are conversations about a very low-tone opposition. I do not know if you've heard that as well. Seemingly, even the church or clergy seem to have been stepping up, and Gen Zs in that regard, to fill the place of calling out the government when they do not have proper policies.
First of all, I wish Raila Odinga good luck. He's a statesman, and probably if he gets elected, he will address the issues that I'm very much concerned with. Should he be elected, it will be easier for me to reach him because he's my friend. And it will be easier for me to ask him to look into the M23 situation. Because those fellows who have fought in Congo, I know some of them as my personal friends. I've been with them in exile.
In Goma?
Yeah, the guys who have just taken over. One of them is very close to me. I was with him in exile for so many years. He wanted to go back home and try also his hand in politics, but because he was a Tutsi and Nyamlenge, there were people who were boneless, people who were not recognized, people who were being tossed from one border to another border. And I'm very happy. I support M23, and I will stand by them. And should I have been in the government, Roots Party would have sent a message of congratulations to M23. I'm very proud. Watu wangu mmefanya kazi mzuri. But now,
I'm sorry, Professor.
Yeah.
I will stick on that because we are looking forward to a summit, a joint summit, EAC and SADC. And there is a ceasefire probability, right? They have called out for a ceasefire. We're talking about 900 people who have died out of the attacks in the DRC. Somebody would marvel at your congratulations, saying they have done a good job.
Yes. I have a right to recognize a country that has been under the waters for many years. And if these young men and women have sacrificed to get their identity, to claim heritage where they were born, which had been denied by the so-called confrontational West, trying to bribe some sycophantic presidents in that part of the world, then who am I not to congratulate them? Look at SADC. How come that they defeated the SADC soldiers, captured 900 South African soldiers, captured Zimbabwean soldiers? What were they doing there, even if they were there at the gist of the UN mission? I support Kagame. The right to survive. Look, for example, look at what we are going through right now. You want us just to be sitting there, tukiambia fanya hivi, people are campaigning throughout, and then we are suffering. The country has gone down, children are being kidnapped, everybody's doing what he's doing. There should be a way out. So for the Tutsis, and for the M23, the first Kenyan to support you, the first person to recognize your government in the world is Professor Wajackoyah with the Roots Party.
Now let's come back home, as far as what is happening with the voice of the opposition. Of course, you'd call it minority in parliament. But you are saying you'll come out strongly to be on the ballot, but you're also not disregarding any other person who's coming out. Someone will say, so what's different? Because right now, there is the Gen Zs who actually came out strongly. And a lot of people are saying, if we can breed a whole new breed, you have run before. Can we get a whole new face that will fight or run against Wajackoyah and the others and actually bring in a new tribeless, leaderless kind of idea in the country? Would that shape the political space differently?
What I just want to say is this. They will not be allowed to be registered. But I challenge the system. Register agencies, let them have the votes, and you'll go home very early in the morning. And Wajackoyah will be the next president of this country.
All right. Let me just also bring you up to speed in as far as the economy is concerned. Because I think that's a major conversation. Even as you're talking about being in the ballot, a lot of Mama Mbogas, you've mentioned Mutu Mkokoteni, feel like politicians would use all these manifestos to ride to the top. But essentially, after that, they cannot find their place as Kenyans in that particular manifesto or eating the cake. So, in as far as putting money in the pocket, what do you think CS Mbadi is doing? The other day was at Mbuge la Wananchi, and there's some fiscal, policies that are being proposed. If you've heard about them, what do you think in as far as that is concerned? Putting money back in the pocket for the hustler.
I wouldn't take Mbadi seriously because he was just given an opportunity after the Genesis blood. Many young men died. Their blood was, you know what I'm going to say? And I wouldn't like people who are dancing on kids' graves to come and tell us anything. I'm not saying that Mbadi is dancing on the Genesis grave, but I will take him with very slight. In fact, I wouldn't want to even discuss him. What I know is that some of these people have come in with the mediocre policies. And if you look at Kenyans' GDP last year, the GDP growth rate dropped from 6% in 2023 to 4% in 2024. It should be looking at indicators to develop the economy, to raise the GDP, instead of coming and telling us this nonsense that pesa mfukoni. Pesa mfukoni ya nini? Mimi nataka watu wapande hemp. Kila mtu tupate legislation, kila mtu apande bangi. Isiyo ya kuvuta.
All right.
Hemp has a lot of byproducts. Hemp, and I wish Justina Amai was here to explain because she's an expert on that. Hemp has commercial benefits and domestic as well as health benefits. Bangi ni matawi yake tu. I am not interested in smoking because people are smoking. I'm interested in the monies that come out of it.
All right.
Canada GDP went double when they recognized and legalized the growth of hemp. Last year, they got $864 billion from harvesting hemp. And that's why now they have gone a step further by now manufacturing their plane from fiber which comes from hemp. If you look at UK, they have also legalized the production of hemp. If you look at Pfizer company, pharmaceutical company, had to research on hemp products to produce ile dawa ya COVID. If you look at HIV, is what have you. So if we were to grow our economy and have money in the pocket, kila mtu apewe kashamba kake, alime bangi for export purposes, awe na pesa mfukoni ambayo amefanyia kazi. You cannot come here and tell us that utakuwa na pesa mfukoni. Kwenda kuambia watoto ya university kwenda kufagia barabara na kwenda kufanya ujenzi kwa manyumba ingine at affordable housing. Hiyo ndio kusema ati utakuwa na pesa mfukoni. Hell no. Let us go back and revitalize our economy. Kenya is very, very, very rich. It has more than 10 climates. You can walk from one climate to another climate within 30 minutes. Therefore, the natural resources we have, the agricultural, the fishing, miraa, and what have you, is there. All we need to do is to put infrastructure.
Right.
For example, I came up with this proposal that Nairobi is congested and the land in Nairobi is no more of value. Let's move to Isiolo and put an international airport in Isiolo, put a capital city of Kenya in Isiolo, and have the people from the Mount Kenya area, plus what have you, because of its proximity to Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan, and Southern Corridor, and then move on, create job opportunities.
All right.
I was like saying, look, we can grow our economy if we have proper policies. Not kwenda Jivaji, wale watoto wa Jivaji wote ni graduates. Bala kwenda huko kusema, pandeni lori niwapeleke niwapatie kazi. Unasema, what is all this? Sorry.
Yes.
Mbadi is not, it doesn't make no sense to me.
And speaking of which, someone would criticize you and say, Wajackoyah, you have raised your children abroad.
They were born there, and I was a refugee.
Yes.
I was a refugee there. I was digging people's graves, washing dead people in the morgue, and I went through hell. That's why my kids were born, they were never on silver platter. By that time, I was a person non granta here. What could I have done? A lot of foolish people will come and say, do they know what my kids went through? They have no idea. My young kids used to throw newspapers in the morning, and I hardly could survive. So they should not even touch on that.
Because I was going to come to that factor of regulating. Bang. Remember last year we had conversations around CAT, MIRA, the concerns in Mombasa, etc. And the matter of regulation vis-a-vis the money that was coming in really came out strongly. If you're going to be in the ballot in 2027 and you still hold this belief, as far as Bang is concerned, the regulation part would be very, very important. The same parliament you're saying you don't have hopes in, we're looking at it being strong enough to put proper legislations and regulations around it.
Mimi nikiwa president, nitafanya vile Trump amefanya.
Okay.
So watakuwa wamenipatia powers through the preamble. Si bangi itavutwa. Si bangi itapandwa. Okay. What is a big heck at parliament? Parliament kitu gani? So hata wapitishe, hata ukiona wakipitisha hii nilikuwa nasikia watu wanataka kupitisha. So watapitisha sheria ya kufanya matajiri ndio watakuwa napanda because they'll make it very stringent for poor people too. Mimi hiyo vitu zao mimi sijali. Najua Wajackoyah akiwa president watu watacheza muziki, watakuwa sawa. Watu watatembea na buffalo wakikula wakipanda bangi yao. Tukiuza nje kama vile Uganda wamefanya.
All right.
Waragi kunywa changao tu we regulate it, watu wanakula vitu na kuendelea.
Professor, even as you're speaking, there's a song that is trending called Mapangale. And as you're speaking, you should listen to that song. Kenya's Mtakuwekea wimbo. But we're about to close this. Maybe when we close, we can dance Mapangale with Professor. It's quite an interesting conversation. Keep sending in your feedback. And we had our big question today, because I want to hear your thoughts on that as well. You've lived through generations. And you said you're a student of Moi, the late Moi, who also served as the president of Kenya. And there is the facelift given to the State House, which has gotten Kenyans talking. And that was our big question tonight. We're asking Kenyans if the viewer tonight thinks that the renovation of the State House is necessary. Was the renovation of State House necessary? Before Professor gives me his answer, allow me to take this feedback again. I'm Layton from Webuye. Every president has done the State House renovations. My question is why when it's President Ruto's time, it becomes a huge topic and a concern. Someone says, yes, very necessary. Even our homes, towns and cities aren't the same for the last over 70 years down the line. Someone says, no. When the country has many problems like SHA, to paying medical doctors, to university funding model, etc., this is not a priority. Someone says, State House is a national monument and not a personal property. The citizen must be consulted. Professor, what would you say?
I would actually, when I become the president, hii mambo ya parliament and State House itaenda either Isiolo ama Nakuru. Hiyo State House mnaona hiyo. Mimi naambia na Kenya kama mtaniruhusu. It will either be a prison or a hospital for mental patients.
Will you consult Kenyans kama watakuruhusu?
Tutaongea nao na watakubali.
How would you change a State House into a prison?
Is it difficult? Sinikwenda tu kuweka vitu hapo na askari hapo mlango na naweka watu huko mabusu huko. We are tired of that thing.
So then where would you sit as president?
Tutajenga vile Ghana walifanya.
Okay.
Jenga parliament nje ndio wabunge wasiende kuleta mchezo hapo wafanye kazi yao. Waweke huko Nakuru wakae huko wakikula pesa ya CDF. Ama wapeleke huko ni Isiolo. State House will be in Isiolo. Hii itakuwa prison. End of story.
Okay, Professor. End of story. Your sentiments tonight. But even as we conclude, you are born in Mumias.
Yes.
How is it going with Mumias, the sugar recovery of the companies? You have such strong sentiments in as far as how that should be revived. I know we are closing, but it's very important that we hear what you think of Mumias, the sugar, the economic factor. You gave examples of Narok or other counties. What's happening back at home?
Mumias, when I get power, I'll close it down because what has happened since Kidero left it, they went with everything. Mumias is a shell. I hear President going there, sijui tumefanya nini. See, juzi alienda ukanaambia watu ati nimewaletea bonus. First of all, it's a private entity. The government maybe owns 50-something%. That factory died long time ago. When you wamekuja saizi wamekuja kwa jina ingine. Alafu, to make it worse, even if you go to the register of names at the company house, you'll find out that the people who are running Mumias are not the original people. And then when they opened the Mumias Sugar Company, they have not yet harvested the first harvest, second harvest, to have bonuses for people. Where did Ruto get money to go there? Alafu anashika saa yake akiwa msanda anasema, saa ni sangapi? Pesa imeingia. Come on, who are you lying? President Ruto, talk to me. Call me and we'll sit down with you that we address Kenyan issues properly. Hiyo kitu ya Mumias vile imelete hii inauzwa huku, yote kama itawezekana, taweka bangi huko.
Professor, you know what you have said is very critical. Unasema, call me, talk to me.
Yeah, so that I can tell you how I feel.
You know what happened the last time people walked into State House? You know how political analysts have come out to talk about, come, talk to me, let us sit down and talk, and how that has turned out?
Mimi taongea naye mahali watu wako tukikunywa nini.
Kama wapi?
So unaona kama juzi, how do you get somebody, because of being drunk with power, without political appointment, harassing people on the platform, like what Farouk did yesterday to the governor of Mandera? And people don't want to talk about it? Pushing people around in my government? Hell no. Thank you.
What would be your closing remarks, however, in as far as 2027 is concerned? Kenyans are watching and they are...
Register in Roots Party. Just dial *50#. You are in, and let us do a lot of support. Let us come together. Let us vote for this one person who has stand alone, who is standing alone. Mkitaka kwenda kwa hiyo magroup, ndio waanze kugawana kura zenu vile wamekuwa wakifanya before. Wajackoyah has never been corrupt. I've never worked anywhere. I have never stolen. What I know is that nikiwa mdogo niliiba kakuku na nikashikwa ya nyanyangu nikapigwa. So vote for me and change this country.
All right, that is a good note to end, saying, you know, it's good to be honest. Yo kuku, I hope you apologize, Professor. Professor.
Kuku million kwa na wageni wakija million nakimbiza napewa mada.
Professor.
Nikuleke tu mala na miguu. Niliangukia moja.
Acha nifunge show, Professor. Na utafute wimbo ya Wapanga Lega. Naona Kenyans wanaicheza sana around, and I've seen some of my camera people giving me a warning to not repeat it. But Kenyan music, really. Professor George Lushiri Wajackoyah joined us tonight and has shared his sentiments in as far as alignments politically are concerned. Thank you so much for your feedback. And I want to appreciate Meresha Awiti, who joined me on Sign Language tonight, the entire team that made it a success, and myself, Anki Doris Umbat. Keep it here for the bold and accurate news. Good night.